Hey, I'm Michael Choi, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial on ICT lesson 4.1, so I don't want to waste any time, so let's just start. We're going to start with public class car. By the way, I'm going to start from everything from scratch, so yeah. And we're going to declare our integers we need, and they're going to be private integer values, and we're going to need 3 of them. So just copy and paste that, and we're going to use the values my start miles, my end miles, and my gallons used. The reason for this is the question asks what is our miles per gallon, and to figure that out we're going to need these two values, my start miles and my end miles, to figure out the distance divided by gallons to give us the miles per gallon. Next, we're gonna start on the constructors, and I would recommend skipping a space after every declaring the variables. You don't have to, but that's a good habit to get into. So public, we're gonna make the default constructor public car, and for this we're going to set my start miles equal to 0 and my end miles to equal to 0, because when you have a brand new car, your start and end are 0. Don't forget this end class. A lot of beginning programmers sometimes forget to declare all the variables they'll need, because when you don't declare your my end miles, it's assumed that it's 0. In this case it would work, but for our next constructor, which has the parameter integer odometer, and so when we set our car to 15, you have to have our odometer set to 15, because if we don't, then it assumes it's our end miles is 0 and our start miles is 15. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes beginner programmers think, oh, this is good enough. I set my my start miles to 0 and my start miles in here to odometer. That's good enough. But no, it's not. The reason is because if we didn't declare this, then we would assume my end miles is 0, and that's not true, because we've already traveled the distance of 15 miles, which means it has to be equal to 15 miles as well. I don't know if that's confusing or not, but you have to have that in order for your first value to have your output correct. Next, we're going to make the copy constructor, and we're going to call that car.otherCar. If you haven't been listening in Mr. Elliott's class, basically all this does is it creates, it references another car class, whatever you call it, like it references an object and copies its parameters. And if you guys don't know what parameters are, it's these variables, whatever they are. Usually in programming language you can call them an argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, so on and so forth. But in general they're called parameters. Next, we're going to go to the... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't finish this up. So, what we're going to do here is say my start miles is equal to the other car's my start miles. Basically, it just extracts the data from the other car and copies it as our own. And next, since we finished our constructors, we're going to go on to our... Accessors, yeah, that's a good place to start. Let's start with get my start miles, and this is public void my get my start miles, because it does not this is public int because it does return a value, and it will return obviously my start miles. What accessors let you do is access, obviously, variables across different classes. That's all you need to know. Get my end miles and get my gallons used. And let's change all these variables to my gallons used, my end miles, and we're good to go. Next, we're going to go on to the method fill up and then calculate. So when a car is filled up, when a car is filled up, we have to record its distance, obviously, So let's call that distance miles traveled. And let's call the gallons used just gallons used. And make sure your gallons are double and your integer, your miles traveled is integer, because that's what we. Oh, I'm sorry. For your primary, when you're setting your private variables, your gallons used should be double, because in Mr. Elliott's website, his first car was set to have double 4 gallons used. You could have it as integers, but you would have to change the parameters in the beginning, if you know what I mean. But for now, let's use double. So in public fill up method, we're going to set my gallons used to gallons used. And basically, when we call upon this method and say fill up this car to, when we fill up this car, it has 100 miles on it and it used 8 gallons. This 8 gallons is going to be sent to here, and it's going to be recorded into this car class, which retains its information in the object. Next, we're going to set the my start miles to my end miles. And then my end miles is equal to miles traveled. And what this does is when we get to when we fill something up, we record our miles per gallon first, and then we fill it up. So what we're gonna do is when we fill it up, we create a brand new start point. So by using this, by setting out my start miles to my end miles, we reset the start point. And my end miles is equal to my miles traveled, which should be self-explanatory. And let's see, our final class is going to be public. Oh, don't forget the void here. Void is for when it does not return a value. When it does return a value, you have to declare what type of value it is. So this should actually be double, because when it returns my gallons used, it returns a double value, so public double my gallon, get gallons used. So our final class is going to be calculate miles per gallon, and we're gonna use double to get an accurate miles per gallon. Calculate and what we're going to return is obviously the miles per gallon. And the way we do that is simple. Distance over gallons used. And the distance, okay, let's just start with, so let's say distance right here and my gallons used. And the distance is my end miles minus my start miles. If you think about this logically, wherever you end minus wherever you start will give you the distance traveled. Just think about it, it should be really simple. So basically we have finished our car class. It'll function perfectly as long as we get this running. So let's call this new class. We're going into our new car class where it'll actually run things. Oh, I just realized my car class and my car tester have been in the wrong places. So my car tester class will be public. Oops, public class car tester. And this next part you can either copy and paste from like a Hello World program or something, but I would recommend memorizing it. I think it's static void main capital S string arg bracket, and that's your main main method. And what we're gonna do is create a new class, new object called let's say Honda Civic. Yeah, that's a good one. Right now what we're doing is saying we're creating a new Honda Civic class, or we're creating a new Honda Civic object, and it's going to have the parameters of 15 miles on it already. And let's see. If it has 15 miles on it, we're basically done. All we need to do is print out the information. So print line, and we're going to need several print lines. So just copy and paste this. And let's say the car. I don't remember this specifically because I'm not on his website right now. The car odometer reading is get the Honda Civic dot get start miles. And what this does is the Honda Civic, which is the car that has 15 miles already on it, will get our, from that we'll get ours. We'll call upon the method called get start miles. It'll go to this, look up get start miles, and return the statement my start miles, which is 15. That's the way we can access variables from a different class. Next, we're gonna print the so after we've done that, we're going to fill up the car. So Honda Civic dot fill up, and let's just say 100. I'm sorry, I don't remember the specific values. 100, and let's say we fill it up to 8.0 gallons or something. So right now what this says is our current odometer says 100 miles. It doesn't mean we traveled 100 miles additionally. It means right now, out of our total lifetime, we've traveled 100 miles. And the 8.0 means how many gallons we've used. And next we're going to print the line, miles per gallon is, and plus Honda Civic dot calculate MPGs. I'm sorry, my spelling's terrible. And let's see, calculate MPG. So that's matching up, and it'll return our MPG. Next, we can repeat this process several amounts of times, and And next we're going to fill it up to, let's say, 150. We traveled 150 miles, and we've used three gallons. And we're basically done here. Let's test it out and see if it works. Let's see, we got one error found, method get start miles. Oh, my bad, it's get my start miles. I'm pretty sure this should run now. Awesome. And there we go. We have the MPGs, and the odometer reading says it's 15, and MPGs is 10.65. The next MPG is 16 2/3. There are more efficient ways to do this, but this is the bare minimum you want for Mr. L to get like an A in the lesson. So I'm pretty sure these aren't the correct words. I can't really remember, but I'll be moving on to lesson 4.2 either today or tomorrow on a separate video. So see you guys later.